Hello, my friends. What is up? And welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited to be doing this video today in collaboration with my friend Tiffany over at Plan with Tiffanita. She has a YouTube and Instagram, and we were chatting and thought it would be so much fun to talk about our top 5 favorite pens. So I will link Tiffany's video down in the description. And when you finish this video, please go check her out and show her some love on her channel. So I'm going to hop right to it. I've got my weeks here because we're going to do some pen testing in the weeks and also in my personal ring, so you guys can see my top favorite pens. So I'm gonna go ahead and have the pages I'm gonna write on deck, but let's start with my first and foremost, my top favorite pen of all time, and that is the Pentel Energel Clenna. I love this pen. If you guys watch my Plan With Me's or anything like that, you see that I am constantly writing with this pen. I also have this pen in brown ink, which I absolutely love. And let me say, too, friends, I love this pen so much that I keep refills on deck. So I buy my refills on Amazon. When I purchased the pen, I think it was a 0.4, but I have learned with the Energel, I like the 0.5 nib. So I have one left. And then I also, in the event that something were to happen in this pen, I also have an extra on deck because I would be really upset if something happened in this pen and I didn't have it to write with. That is how much I love this pen, okay? So what I like about this pen is, can you see the needle point tip? I love the way it writes. And they both are like that. So I actually bought this brown one from Nora's Cove a while ago. I like the barrel size, and I think I prefer, with the way I write, I prefer a larger barrel. So I like the size of the barrel, and I like how smooth it is. So I don't use these in my Hobonichis at all, but I use them all the time in my personal ring. So we're going to do like a super quick pen test. So this is the Pentel Energel Clenna. I can't spell Clenna, and this is a 0.5 in brown. It's lovely. Let me zoom you guys in. Whoop. And then this is the Pentel Energel Clenna. Maybe I'll spell it right this time. 0.5 in black ink. It's just a beautiful, beautiful pen. I love the way it writes. It is so smooth. It is one of my favorites. And then I'm just going to do really quickly, I may speed this up. But as you guys can see, like it doesn't smear when I do it on just like, this is, I think 28 or 32 pound HP paper. It doesn't smear at all. So let's try it in the weeks on the Tomoe River paper. So I'm just going to put Pentel Clenna 0.5 in brown. Now, I have been told that these work fairly well on the Tomoe River paper, but let's see. Because this is a gel pen, and I feel as though the gel pens don't always write the best on here. So I'm going to give it a second, and then, wow, it didn't smear. Well, it smeared a little bit here. Can you guys see? It smeared a little, but it dried pretty quickly. Yeah, that kind of changes things for me. Okay. So that is number one favorite pen. Number 2 and most used, and when I'm saying favorites, I'm also saying like most used pens, is I love these Pilot Friction pens. Okay. These are erasable pens. You can pick these up at Walmart. You can buy them on Amazon. So I currently have 2 that I use actively, and I use these a lot for like budgeting, or if I'm writing something that needs to be erased. It would be a really good idea if I use these in my monthlies, because I could move some information around if need be. So the black Pilot Friction that I have is a 0.7 nib, and the white one I have is a 0.5 nib. Now, these are erasable. The 0.5 is not as pigmented, as you guys are going to see. So we're going to have the Pilot Friction 0.5, and then this is the 0.7. So as you can see, the 7 is definitely a lot bolder. But the thing I like about this pen is, and I use it a lot with budgeting and financial notes and things like that, is it is erasable. It does click. It took me a minute, guys, like when I first got these pens to realize, I was like, why won't it open? The clip is what clicks it. But it does, it erases. And I guess the Friction name comes from, and I'm heavy-handed, and it did erase. It does leave a little indentation, but I guess heat and the friction between rubbing this little eraser thing on the line is what erases it. And yes, I would not survive without this pen. And so I'll do it really quickly here on the Tomoe River paper too. And I feel like these are some type of gel pen. It doesn't say. This just says, it says, this is a ball friction, whatever that means. I guess this is a ballpoint, and I think this is also a ballpoint. So I guess it's not a gel. But these write very nicely. But you see that the 0.7 is a lot thicker than the 0.5. So let's just, yeah, it does smear. So you got to give it a minute on the Tomoe River paper to ensure that it's dry. But it does the same thing, like it erases. So yeah, see, you can erase it. Which that's a lovely feature for me, is being able to erase this pen. So that way, like when I'm working in numbers and stuff like that, I don't necessarily have to use a pencil. All right, so that's 2, right? Number 3. Okay, you're going to get a bonus because this is going to be like a 2-for-1, is ballpoint pens. I prefer to use ballpoint pens in my weeks. Now, I use different writing utensils in my cousin, but in my weeks, I prefer to use ballpoint pens. And these are very inexpensive pens that I like to use. This is the Zebra Z-Grip. I was like way up here instead of in the viewfinder. And I purchased this from the Dollar Tree. I got 2 of them for $1.25. So this is a great pen. It's very bold, and this is what I have been using in my weeks. And then I have always, I don't know, do you guys remember these? I use these all through college, high school, middle school. These are the Pentel RSVP pens in fine. It's a 0.7 nib. I love these pens. I always, because you can get like I feel like you can get like a pack for like 98 cents at Walmart. These are very inexpensive, and I like them. Like, I've always enjoyed these pens, and so these write really well. Also, in my weeks, I use these a lot at work in my Stalogy. So as far as like the ballpoint pens, the 2-for-1 ballpoint pens, right? They're 2 completely different brands, but these are the best. So I'm going to pen test this. So this is the Zebra Z-Grip. I think this is a 1. So again, nice ballpoint. And this is the Pentel RSVP. I just like how smooth the writing experience is. And this is a 0.7. And look how nicely it writes. Isn't that nice? And again, I love some ballpoint pens on Tomoe River paper because they don't smear. So these are great. And they are very inexpensive. So if I lose it, like if I take this out of the house and I lost it, I could easily replace it. Like, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Whereas like if I took my beloved Klenna and I lost it, I would be so upset, because I have had this pen for almost 2 years. Like, it's amazing how long I've had it. So yes, and this is the Pentel RSVP. So as you can see, with the ballpoint pens, they definitely do not write as dark as the gel pens or as bold, but they work really nicely and they don't smear at all. Like, they do not smear at all, which is why I love having these pens. I can quickly, like, especially like in my weeks, if I need to quickly jot something down, I can just scribble it in and then close it and not have to worry about like ink transferring to the next page or smearing or any of that. So having these two ballpoint options is fantastic. Okay, next. I love this. This is a zebra. I have like a trend with my pens. This is a Zebra Xoxo Nano. It's a 0.3 and this is a brown ink, but it's a lot. It's this ink, the Clena's brown, has like almost like an orange undertone, if you guys can see here. Whereas this is a lot darker, but the nib size is so thin. It's a 0.3. Now, I've never used this on Tomoe River paper, but I did use it in my monthly here. And if you guys caught that plan with me, so you can see that this is the Nano and this is the Pentel. So there's a definite difference in nib size and also in color. So this is, I always forget. And I purchased this pen from Ardnas Stationery. And I do, most of my pens that I use are, aside from like my 2 ballpoints, are going to be linked down in the description, either with Ardnas or in my Amazon favorites. So, but as you guys can see, it's definitely a different color. It's definitely a thinner nib. And I really, really like this pen. I was so glad I purchased it. So let's pen test it on the TRP. So Zebra, and I think this is a gel, but as you can see, it does not show up super, super dark on the TRP. So I'm gonna give it a sec, but it looks wet. Oh, hey now, look at that, guys. It's not smearing at all. Wow. I had no idea. I'm impressed. But yeah, I like to, I've shifted to like color coding a lot in my life. So I use this as a special indicator on my monthly, which I love. So I don't like bright colored ink, but I do like different colored ink. And I say that with a grain of salt because next is, these are my fountain pens. So that's number 5. Number 5 is fountain pens. These are the 3 that I own at the moment. So this one is from Five Below. It's a very, like, I got 2 of these for $3.25. The first one I purchased already busted because I had it in my purse and it busted, so I threw it away. So this one is a Sailor Compass, and I bought this one from Goulet Pen. I like it. And then this is my favorite fountain pen that I own. And this is the TWSBI Eco and the extra fine nib. And I think it's purple, obviously, but I like this mechanism. Now, this is where I get a little bit more, I'm trying to think, more, I can't think of the word, experimental, I guess, with ink colors. So here's what I do if you guys are curious. I have this little container here, and I do not own a full bottle of fountain pen ink, but I have ink samples that I buy from Goulet Pens. And so I have them stored in here, and I just kind of pick a color and ink my stuff. So currently, if you guys are wondering what my pens are inked with, this is the purple color that my Sailor is currently inked with, and then this is the color that my TWSBI is currently inked with. So I'm having fun with experimenting with colors, which I don't think that color is accurate. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about, because I think there was still a little bit of blue ink in here. So it's coming off a little bit different. I've been using this color so you guys can see. I think it was mixed with this color and that color, and it made this purple color. So this is a more accurate color of the ink that I currently have in my Sailor Compass. I did a pen test, but I will Yeah, this is the Five Below pen. Let me get you guys in frame. And this is what it looks like on the Tomoe River paper. And then this is the color that I currently have inked in my TWSBI Eco. So it's a very beautiful blue. And I have a really good time using these colored inks in my Hobonichi Cousin. So I'm going to really quickly just do a pen test on 32-pound paper, because one thing about fountain pens that I've learned is on certain papers it bleeds through. So I'm just going to write like the pen, so that way you guys can see them in action. This is way more than 5 pens. So I guess my other two, so like I said, my TWSBI is my favorite, and then this is the Sailor Compass. And the color changes a little bit from just regular paper to Tomoe River paper. And then this is the Five Below pen. So let's look at, well, on 32-pound paper, as you guys can see, none of these pens bled through. There's no ghosting of any kind. There is ridging, and it's because I write heavy-handed, but that's what we're looking at here. And then, as you can see, it dried pretty quickly, and it didn't bleed through. And then if you guys are curious about other favorite writing utensils, honestly, there's really, aside from this stack of pens here that I just reviewed with you guys, like these are the pens that I use on a regular basis, and they all kind of serve a purpose. See, I'm that person, right? Like I'm like, these are for my cousin, and this is for my monthly, and this is for budgeting. And this is for everyday and weekly planning, and then this is for my weeks. And if we divide them up into categories, that's what we're looking at, right? That's it. So that's where I'm at. But anyway, if you guys watch my channel or are familiar, you pretty much know that these are the pens that I use the most, and they are definitely my favorites. I do want to note, because I've been asked before, I have transparent sticky notes, but I don't really write on them much. So I just don't have a need for any type of pen that I can use to write on transparent sticky notes. I just write on regular sticky notes most of the time. I think transparent sticky notes are cute, but I don't really write on them, so I just don't have a use for them. But these are the pens, like I said, that I use on a regular basis that I like. Now, as far as fountain pens go, TWSBI Eco is my favorite. I would like to try some other ones, and maybe one day I will. I'm just choosing to spend in other areas. But yeah, so those are my 5 favorite pens. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment those down in the description. Please don't forget to check out Tiffany's video. I can't wait to watch it. I'm curious to see what her favorite pens are. And be sure, like, when you click on her video, show her some love, and let her know that I sent you over there. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please do not forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you have a fabulous day.